We just wanted to let you know any medical advice or tips you might hear today in today's podcast, just know we're not doctors. This is just for you to think about. And if it works for you, great, but always check back with your doctor. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Down Syndrome 21st Perspectives. I'm Leigh Frillici. I'm with my amazing co-hosts, Ann Lewis and Monique Johnson. And we have a wonderful guest today, Laura Elder. She is with the camp Beloved and Beyond. And you run the camp with your husband, right?
Yes, we are co-founders, co-directors.
Fantastic.
And all the, yeah.
Tell us about this camp. It sounds amazing for kids with disabilities.
Yeah, so it is a camp, kind of this whole beloved and beyond, a place to be loved, be able to love others and know that you're beloved by God. So it's a Christian camp, but it's a camp where all are welcome, and which I love. It's a camp for children and adults with disabilities, and age 7 and up. So sweet little 7-year-olds get to go have a little slumber party, which is pretty brave of mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then
and you.
And then we have
Right?
and me. Yeah. Because we get to welcome all in the gates, right? And then we have 2 adult weeks, because don't we all want to go to camp until we're 8?
So that's for just parents that don't have a disability get to come and go to camp?
No, so these adult are campers.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Think about, you start camp. We've been doing special need camp ministry. This will be our 19th summer.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay.
Under the Beloved and Beyond name, this will be our 5th summer, because we added some beautiful parts of it. So the Beyond part of Beloved and Beyond is we had campers, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, watch these beautiful people volunteer and we're their one-on-one buddy, and then serve them in the dining hall and wait on them. And they go, excuse me, when is it my turn to volunteer?
Wow,
and we go,
that's amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me get back to you, because we should probably do that, right? So we created the most magical program called the Beyond Team.
Wow.
And these are campers that get to come back and serve the place they've been served.
Wow.
And they are waiters and waitresses. They help run the camp store. They help put us the photo books together. They make special coffee and put it in their little golf cart along with their coaches, and they drive around and deliver coffee. And it's incredible.
Wonderful.
So purpose.
I want to come. Can we come?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Actually, you can, because we have volunteer opportunities. But kind of going back to what it is, so we have camp for our amazing campers with disabilities, and it doesn't matter what your disability is. So if you can walk, great. If you can't walk, that's great. Wheels, we call them holy rollers. They get to roll wherever they want. It's great.
I remember when I was at the luncheon, that was the thing that stood out to me the most. Like, if somebody was in a wheelchair, their whole life, they had to be in a wheelchair, you still found a way for that person to get to experience going down a water slide. And I just thought, wow, it's incredible that you're giving them that experience, but it's also so incredible of you to have that vision and take on all different kinds of serious things. It's not like, oh, you have to be kind of self-sufficient in a way. Right. Anyone can do it could be anything that they need. You guys provide the service for.
I'd love to hear more about the activities. What are some of the things the kids can do?
Well, so kind of like she was sharing, we want every camper to get the opportunity to say yes at some level at every activity.
Wow.
There can be a yes at anything. So, for example, like today, we have these people coming in to do a pretty intense ropes training. Well, what does that mean? So I don't know if y'all have ever been on a zip line.
Yep.
Or if you've ever been on a giant swing.
Yes.
But you think, mentally you think, I'm going to walk up the stairs and I'm going to get hooked to this platform and I'm going to go down a zip line and then I'm going to walk down some stairs. Well, all our families that have children with disabilities are like, well, my camper can't do that. They can't walk. Or they're real afraid of heights, right?
Yeah.
Or they need a hug the whole time. Mm-hmm. So our friends and campers, we just call them our friends because aren't we all friends, that get to go on a zip line. It's a camper and a one-on-one buddy because every one of our campers has a special friend the whole week.
Oh, wow.
That's their own person. which is mind-boggling to me.
Yes,
That's the
it
best
is.
part to me. It's
Wow.
like that relationship. But they get to go on a zip line. So if they want to get hooked up into a booty bag, we call it, and they go down a zip line and we put them right back in their wheelchair or not. Maybe they just don't want to walk up the stairs. We'll let them ride the zip line. They get to ride this giant swing where they're hooked up and then hauled up in the air, and they pull this cord and swing. We ride horses. We swim in this amazing accessible pool. They get to fish and go on canoes and paddle boats.
Awesome.
We do archery. We have arts and crafts. Two of my favorite is they have a dress up closet. We call it costume closet, and they go dress up and they all get to do their own fashion show with their buddies, and silent disco. I was thinking
like
there's
silent
going to
disco.
work. They all put headphones on and they're all dancing.
Oh, cute.
Well, and that's so nice because some kids have like aversion to noise, and so they need that.
It's hilariously beautiful. And every night we have a big theme party where we have water slides and or a dance party, and then the last night of camp we have a thing called cross carry where we get to worship, and we have it's incredible. So
how many kids get to go to camp each week?
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Will you ask that again, please?
How many kids get to go to camp each week?
So we have so there's 7 campers in a cabin, 7 one-on-one buddies, a junior buddy that doesn't have a camper that helps with the rule of 3 because we're never alone, always 3 people, always, and then 2 summer staff. And then a cabin mom, see, y'all could all come be cabin moms. A cabin mom or dad that doesn't sleep in a camper cabin comes and checks on these cabin along with our leadership. So really every camper, it's like 3 to 1. So 56, but plus 20 beyond team, or if they're not there, we have siblings get to come to camp. So mom and dad are thinking, okay, I have a 7 to 12-year-old neurotypical, if that's such a thing. I just don't think there's such a thing as really neurotypical. I don't think any of us are, but neurotypical, and they get to come to camp with their special sibling at the same time. So we have 3 sibling weeks. So I would say on average, it's like 70, 70, but we have about 225 people at camp every week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said you don't have a wait list this year, right? For the summer.
Especially for boys.
Wow.
Especially.
That's amazing.
So Laura,
I know.
your son with Down syndrome is 20 now, you said?
Yes.
How old was he when you started
the
this?
camp. Yeah, that's a good question.
So he was 18 months old.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to undertake.
When we started special need camp ministry, he was 18 months old, and I think was probably one big of our why. We have 5 kids. My oldest is 32, my youngest is 20, and my middle daughter, Brooke, has a rare genetic disorder. But we thought that was going to be our hard journey, right? Our medical mystery child. Our child that's in special education, the child we get to go to all the ARDs for, right? And do therapy and speech and OT and all the things. But we watched her thrive. And so then when he was born, I was 39, almost 40. We had some, ultrasounds done, and they said, oh, he's good. I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure. And then at 9 months old out of womb, they ran some more tests and said, oh, by the way, he has trisomy 21. And I told the doctors they were wrong. I'm like, it's pretty black and white test. You either have an extra chromosome or you don't. And I can't imagine life without him. Early days were really hard, but today he just wants to hang out with college kids, and he wants to be on kitchen crew, and he wants to lead activities, and he wants to dress up and still be that. And it's all about the outfit. But
so cute.
He lives a magical life. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? I have a teenage young adult son. Marley, my son, is 18 now, and I would love for him to experience your camp. He's been to Camp for All. And Ann was telling me about your camp, and it just sounds amazing. I mean, just what a vision. So thank you for living out that vision for all of the kids and families. I just feel like I have to say that to you. That's amazing.
Well, he needs to come to camp. And if he can't come this summer, we have a winter respite weekend in December, and we have spring break camp, and we have family camp in October where the whole family can come.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah.
I know that.
What made you
I
want to
love
do
them.
this?
Older kids.
That's such a great question. I think my husband and I met at A&M, and we did this thing called Young Life.
Yeah.
So we,
Yeah, we love Young Life.
Yeah. My kids
we
were
just
in that
love to
too.
hang out with high school kids.
Ministry.
And then when I graduated from college, I got to teach at an inner city school and coach basketball, volleyball, track. And so and then we did youth ministry at our church. So we love junior high and high school kids. And then we love college kids. And so in this journey, and we love camp. I mean, when you get away for camp, it changes your life because you're not in your
I never went to
typical
camp.
Yes, it is. It does change your life. I agree.
Yeah.
You know,
And so
you're in your bubble,
decided-
right?
Yeah. Very exciting.
We just decided camp changes lives. I mean, so that's kind of our motto is camp changes lives.
So you already had the plan to do it before your children with special needs were born.
So we thought we were going to be doing just regular camp, right? Going and with typical kids. And so when Cody Noah was born, and a couple approached us in 2005 when we kind of first started this journey. And they said, we're going to start this camp for kids with disabilities. And in full transparency already, this was our answer. Oh, I don't think that's our thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
And God
Okay,
said,
good. You sound a
"Only."
little bit more normal now. A little bit more like me.
It was going to be your life's work, right?
Yeah,
You didn't
And
know.
God said, okay, well, I'm going to make it your thing. And at that point, Cody Noah had not been diagnosed with Down syndrome.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
1 month later, we got this news and we're like, I think big picture is God's writing our good, hard story.
Yes.
He's like, I'm gonna unfold your life, little pieces at a time, and you're not going to understand it, but it's going to be really hard and it's going to be really good.
Wow.
And you're going to be part of watching 16-year-olds come be a buddy to a camper that they think they're going to come change their life. In reality,
They're going to change
that young man with Down syndrome is going to change their life and open up their eyes to make them realize life isn't about them.
Yeah.
I think watching that, to me, story of maybe boys that aren't natural caretakers get to be put in that role. And then I'm telling you, hundreds of kids just write their college essay about that.
Yeah.
That's how they get into college because it changed their life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Amazing.
I would love for more boys to come experience that.
Yeah, you were saying do you need more counselor kids?
Yes.
What do you need on your
would
end?
be honored if there would be more boys that would be brave and bold and say, yes, I'm going to come for 6 days. On Monday, you get trained. Campers show up on Tuesday at 3 and leave on Saturday. It's just literally 5 days, 4 nights with a special camper to let them have the best week of their life. And they get 103 service hours, which help you graduate from high school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or on your application for a
For college.
scholarship.
Yeah.
So the positions are not
amazing.
paid positions; they're volunteer positions.
The high school is all volunteer. And then once you turn 18, you can apply to be on summer staff.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
That's awesome.
Great. Is there anything else that we missed that people need to know about your amazing camp?
One thing is we understand, biggest thing is a mom or a dad or a caretaker, grandma, whoever's raising that beautiful person, that beautiful future camper, is that these might be some things they think about. What if they don't sleep all night?
Right.
What if they're a runner? What if they don't really like to eat the food you have? What if they're gluten-free and dairy-free and dye-free? What if they take a lot of medications? What if they need a G-tube feeding? What if they need a catheter? What if they have diabetes? What if they need sunscreen? What if they're in a wheelchair? Okay, all those things you go, oh my gosh, there's no way. What if they're not potty trained?
Yeah.
Right? Guess what? We see past all that And we have the most incredible medical team. We have always 2 medical professionals and 4 nursing students every week to care for these campers and hand out medications and do all those. I'm not going to call them hard things. I'm going to call them, those are part of those mommy's lives.
Right.
And so we get to do that for 6 days and let mom and dad maybe go on a date for the first time in 10 years, or a single mom get to go have fun with her friends, or just do nothing, right? And maybe be by herself. I think is such a gift. So we have nursing students from Baylor, LeTourneau, and UTMB get to come do their pediatric clinical rotation at camp and care for.
That's cool.
That is amazing. And I'm sure it's life-changing for those nurses also.
Now, Laura, do you and your husband still run it with the first couple that came to you to start this, or is it just yours now?
That is such a great question. So he was a doctor, ER doctor, and tragically passed away in 2019.
Wow.
But Jody Ferguson is on our board of directors and is still in fact, she just came up and got to invest in our leadership team and tell them, give them some tools. Yeah. And they have a son who is amazing. His name's Matthew, and he has autism, is nonverbal, and loves camp and comes every summer.
I have a quick question. So I know you said you're recruiting males specifically. Is there a specific, age limit to the group, to the males that you're trying to recruit? Tell us a little bit more about that, and we'll be sure to.
And I think big picture, it'd be fun for families to know what to look forward to. Mm-hmm. So our volunteer opportunities. So starting at 13, 14, and 15-year-old, you get to serve on B crew, and you're a waiter and waitress, and you help clean, and you adopt a cabin, and you don't sleep in a camper cabin. So it's like, a bunch of junior high and, freshman boys and girls but they sleep separately and they're invested in. And then at 15, you can be a junior buddy, sleeping in a cabin. There's only 4 boys, 4 girls each term. And then starting at 16, you get to be that one-on-one buddy. And so 16 really all the way to 25, you can be that one-on-one buddy. And then if you're 26 and above, you can come be a cabin parent. And even if you're not a parent, but really y'all get to be that extra set of hands and write notes and encourage and tenderly say, hey, that camper needs their shoes tied, or things that moms notice, maybe that a 16-year-old wouldn't. So 16-year-old, I think public, private, homeschool, it doesn't matter. Just a heart to serve.
What is the hardest thing for you or for an aide to do while they're there, do you think?
What's the hardest thing for a camper to do?
No, not the campers, but the volunteers or yourself. What do you think is the hardest thing?
Yeah, hard. I think it's so interesting, the inundation of just hard and good go together. Mm-hmm. I think hard of getting out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Right. I think hard kind of coming in with unmet expectations. So then there's disappointment, thinking it's going to be something different. I think hard, the opportunity to love someone well. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're kind of a chiller person. And by the way, we kind of let our buddies read through these applications in their cabin and say, I really want that camper. So there's ownership. Mm-hmm. We don't just like delegate it. Mm-hmm. So, but for maybe a camper, and not, if everybody picks the same camper, there's an opportunity for, to figure out what God has in store. But is watching a buddy, maybe that's really quiet, have a camper that's not very quiet, and really chatty, or a camper that's really chatty that gets the privilege of learning a new language and has a camper that's nonverbal, and watching them learn that language, because everybody has something to say, whether they can speak or not. Everybody can communicate, And so the beginning part is hard. And at the end, there's so many young men that come up to me and go, I haven't really slept.
Because I've been really doing it. Right? And I'm also
I've had to wipe some drool, or I've had to maybe help somebody eat, or make sure that they were tended to, in the restroom appropriately, or made sure, going, did you rinse your, shampoo out of your hair, or, all that.
Well, and just picturing my teenage boys doing that. I mean, you have a son, a son, like
exactly.
It's just,
well, and just thinking about, like you said, hey, Marley, this is what I'm saying to him. Hey, Marley, did you wash all the right places?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but I love what I'm thinking about is just how transformative, the act of transformative service to others is what I hear. Throughout your whole entire camp.
Well,
and I want to experience
that. Get the most gratification out of your life by serving others.
Yeah.
And Fritz is only 5. Yeah. So I feel like God gave me him to create me to be a better, more passionate, loving person. Yeah. And so I look at you and I wonder to myself, he messed up with me. Like he picked you right. But do you think you were always this? I mean, it sounds like you were a coach and, you did have these qualities beforehand, but do you feel like having your children have special needs made you more like this, or were you just kind of always this amazing person?
Okay, you crack me up.
No, seriously, because
y'all are
She
amazing.
was chosen. She was chosen.
I think it's like this unfolding of recognizing the value in human life. Mm-hmm. And so to look at a 5-year-old like your son, that the world says is different, and then there's fear, and then it's hard because it's different. Mm-hmm. And then we have all these dreams that we have for our kids that maybe don't come to fruition. So kind of in this heart. But then you look at, broken families, you look at tragic deaths, you look at families of mommies and daddies that long to be moms and dads that can't right? So you look at all this and go, okay, but the value of human life, and I mean, in all transparency, I mean, we firmly believe what the Bible says about Psalm 139, that we were knit together in our mother's womb, and that they really were created, and we don't think God makes mistakes.
No,
and so when you look at every human life, whether it's just a kid that makes really bad choices, like, a 7th grader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or a kid that has a disability, I think just watching people thrive and struggle well to get to this place of saying, I matter, is probably the greatest gift we get at camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Which is amazing.
Wonderful. And it really just shines through everything you do. You can hear it when you talk about everything.
Yeah.
So
your passion.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I definitely want to have you back.
Yes.
Hopefully maybe in a less busy time you can come and be in person, because there's so many things that we talked about on the phone that I just you're just so insight. Your spirit is so amazing.
Yes.
So and one thing you said to me that, like, you said you wouldn't change it for the world, and that you just love, I mean, obviously we all love our kids, but it's like I don't think that you feel like you wish he didn't have Down syndrome
right
at this point, now that he's 20, and not that I wish that he didn't, but at the same time, I see little kids running around our neighborhood playing together, and I so wish that Fritz could be participating in that. And so it's a whole perspective switch that I have to do. And like hearing moms with older children with Down syndrome always makes me I just like to be around that, because that's what puts the fire under me to just keep going. And
and the unknown, I think, too, like with Anne.
I didn't know either, just like you didn't.
And neither of us knew. And I think that we know for a fact, and Anne and Leigh have heard me say, that God said, hey, I've equipped you with everything that you need to raise this child. And so even now Marley's 18, we often talk about, well, wow, I'm thinking, what else is he going to be able to do? So thank you for all that you do for kids and families with special needs. And I can't wait to come and check you all out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll put information about your camp in the podcast notes so people can find you.
Yes.
Sound like a plan?
Well, I thank y'all for what
thank
you do,
you.
because y'all's vision is also changing the world.
Very sweet.
Well,
we
thanks.
appreciate that.
Thank you,
One-
Laura, for
one
making the
episode
time
at
to
a
do
time.
this today.
Thank
This was
you.
awesome.
Appreciate you.
Nice to meet you.
Good luck
Have a
this
great
summer.
day.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.